Welcome back everyone, Meanpooh here, and today I have the Legion 5 Pro. This machine is equipped with a Ryzen 7 5800H and RTX 3070. I purchased this machine just over 18 months ago, and it's been nothing but awesome and running everything I can throw at it. As of late, I have noticed that the temperature is starting to increase much higher than normal. Considering how many games I run on this machine, this should be expected. This leads me to today's video, which will be a repaste. Generally, this should take around 20 minutes or less, including removing screws, but today I will be replacing the thermal pads, which will make the time much longer. In addition to the previous, PTM 7950 can be difficult at times to apply, so there's that. For thermal grease, I will be using Honeywell PTM 7950, and for thermal pads, I will be using G-Lid Solutions GP Ultimate. While doing the process, I will try to measure all the pads as best I can for those interested. As always, if you plan on doing this with any machine, please take proper precautions. Shut down the machine and remove any accessories connected, including the power adapter. Turn it over and remove 10 screws. In my machines, there seems to be a lot of dust in the fans. I'm sure that if I clean these right now, I could almost solve my heating problems, but we need to go further. I'm going to set a vacuum just above the fan so it can collect the dust as I clean the blades. Generally, you want to unplug the fan from the board. Keeping the fans plugged in could possibly cause current to be introduced to the board, causing some damage. In my case, I would turn the blades very slow while using a toothbrush to wipe in the direction that the blades are angled. Next, I will remove the drive shield to disconnect the right fan. There are 3 screws holding this down. Moving to the other side, I'll remove 3 more fan screws. Now let's loosen the 5 screws that are on the heatsink. These will not come out. Let's finish up by removing the last 2 screws holding the right side drive shield on. We can now disconnect the right side fan. Now we're ready to remove the heatsink. Gently lift up. If it does not want to move, try to rock it first and double check to make sure that the screws are loosened. Looks like I did a good job with the fan cleaning with just a little bit of residue left. The thermal pads look good in my opinion and could possibly be reused. The thermal grease looks a little dry here. Before moving on, I will wipe up the residue and check to see if any more dust is inside the delicate radiator. Now I will measure the factory thermal pads. As I go through, I will try to salvage the old thermal pads and put them on saran wrap. The thermal grease is really dry. Using Q-tips and alcohol works pretty well. The GPU side is really dry. Jesus, wow. So far, so good. I'm going to leave the blue plastic on until I finish. I'm going to clean up the GPU and CPU the same way as the heatsink. Try to get as much thermal grease cleaned up as possible. Once you move off the die, be careful as this is where damage can occur because the crevices are so tight. More measurements of the GPU and CPU. Here's the Honeywell PTM 7950. So far, I've repasted 3 laptops with this sheet, and this is being the 4th. I still have enough for maybe 3 more laptops. Before I forget, here's the thickness of the factory thermal pads. I'm going to take the stock thermal pads and put them up just in case this doesn't work. I really hate this part. Working with Honeywell can be difficult at times. If you look closely, there is some excess thermal grease, but this will be fine as the original application presented the same thing. If you want, you could carve off the extra. With the grease applied to the CPU and GPU, it's now time to put the heatsink back on along with the screws. Gently lay it down, make sure everything is lined up. Attach the fans. And lastly, the battery. Put the back panel back on. Turn it over and boot it up. Hopefully everything goes well. Now we're going to go ahead and test these temperatures. For the test, I used AIDA 64, stressing both the CPU and GPU. Brand new, the CPU reached a high of 93 C. 18 months later, temps reached 100.4 C. After the repaste, the highest was 91, having a 2-degree decrease from brand new. For the average temp of the CPU, brand new it was 86.8 C. 18 months later, it was 88.7 C. After the repaste, we got down to 77.4 C, a 9-degree decrease. The highest temps for the GPU was 74.1 C, brand new. 18 months later, it was 80.3 C. And after the repaste, we got 81 C. Here we have a 7-degree increase. Ouch. For the average GPU temps, we have 74.2 C brand new. 18 months later, we got 79.1 C, and after the repaste, 77.7 C, which is just over a 3-degree increase. Take note that this is a stress test, and most games will not push your machine this hard, so temps may be lower in game. As for the highest temps reached chart, the temps will be high as the fans have to spin up to cool the CPU down. I'm very satisfied about the CPU, but the GPU not so much. I'm hoping that after some use, the thermal grease and everything will just start to settle and the temps will start to go down. It's wishful thinking, and I'm hoping it will happen, but we'll see. Overall, I think the repaste was a success and everything went fine without issue. The machine booted up, which is great. Sometimes people do these things and the machine does not even come on anymore. Lastly, I'm content with the results, and I do not look forward to doing this anytime soon, at least within the year, maybe on another machine, but not this one. Anyway, I hope some of you found this helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.